Hey guys, it's Ben with Myers Woodshop, and I'm along with
Peter Romano with RowdyRoman.com.
And today we have the Artillery Sidewinder X1 in this box. It doesn't say it on it, but that's their logo. So we're going to open it up, set it up. It's a large format printer, so we're going to see if it's any good. I'm going to compare it to the one I actually have in my shop, which is the Aina A8, which is not terribly great, but hopefully this will be a little bit nicer. So let's open it up and see what's inside. So inside what we have is the machine. Looks like it's mostly built. In this package we have the instructions. We have a checklist of
Chinese parts.
A readme first. Don't shock yourself. We have the instructions on how to put it together, which are literally what was it, like 8-9 steps of mostly pictures. We have a little bit of a supplemental instruction for a flex cable that apparently a lot of people are screwing up. Do not remove this finish. Do not remove before finished assembly, which has already been removed off of the top of this. So
okay,
that's pretty awesome. Over here, we have a power cord. We have, this is the filament roll that'll attach to the top to where your filament spool hold. And we have the filament sensor right there. Then we have a little baggie with a bunch of things. Let's check this out. We have the ribbon cable that paper was talking about. We have a USB cord. We have a wrench. And we have some V-wheels, a little chipboard inside there, and then an extra nozzle, and some nuts and bolts and Allen keys. So that's what comes in this nice little package. Oh, and there's a USB stick. It's a 1 gig USB stick with the Artillery logo on it. So that's that.
Belts feel tight already.
We'll pull this top piece out first, and I'll hang on to that.
You got it?
This is like all built. It's amazing.
Might have been better to take it out.
You want to pull this whole plastic out first? And that is the base with all the electronics. So we literally had the base and the frame, and that's everything. So it should be pretty quick to install. All right, so here's the machine. On the back, we have the power, we have the power switch, and then the heat bed cable coming out of the back. Let's take a look at the underneath of it. We have the exhaust fan is on the front bottom with these feet. Both sides look exactly the same. I'm going to take this sheet off because it keeps falling on me anyways. So just be careful with the build plate. And then on the front, we have the touch screen with a little clear plastic. And then on the side right here, we have a USB and a micro SD slot. And then we have our ribbon cable back here. We do have 2 cables over on this side that something will get plugged into. And we have another cable that is back in the back. That's something we'll get plugged into as well. So we'll remove the tape from those things. And our base is ready to go. Pete, you were mentioning something about the belts.
Yeah, and some of the other printers that we've put together, we've noticed that the belts always need tightened. This thing is tight, and it does not need to be tightened anymore. It's actually really nice, so you won't get any slack. It's
relatively tight compared to most of what we've printed. Printers we've used. It is an insulated bed down on the bottom since it's such a big build plate. That should assist in things heating up a lot faster. I am noticing there is a regular USB port over here, but on this side there's the printer style USB port too. So, all right, what's our first step?
All right.
This is a direct drive printer, which is a lot like the Prusa I have, which means that the print head and the motor are all right on the Z-axis, rather than the print going through a tube and then going to like the motor extruder somewhere else. So that should give it a better print quality than most other printers.
So we're just going to be taking some of this stuff off for starters.
They did zip tie these things over here. So I'm just removing those zip ties. There is a ribbon cable in the center to where we don't want to cut that. This tape is holding down the ribbon cable from moving during shipping. All right, so we're gonna take it off and we're gonna do a little bit of, set the back on first. So the only way to lay it down really easily is to get like some supports. There we go. So we kind of rigged this up. We're gonna take the bottom off and take a look at the insides, check out the board. It does have a warranty sticker on it. If you break the seal, then you have no warranty. So we're breaking the seal and we're gonna check out the inside so you can see what it looks like. So we're gonna remove these bolts and we'll come back and take a look at the inside. All right, so we're gonna take off the back plate. We're gonna have a cable on this fan, so we need to be pretty careful. Cable is coming over to here, so we'll turn it sideways a little bit. And this is what the inside of the machine looks like. We have our power supply, a relay, a little daughter board. This is the main board with stepper drivers. Let me pull you in close so you can see it. Okay, here's the board. You can see our drivers are right along here. And it does say maker base, and I have an, it's a little too bright in there, MKS Gen L version 1.0. So that's the board. And over here we have the LCD screen, and then we have the USB, and that is what's inside. Okay, so there are 3D printed parts down here. There's a little bit of clip right here, a 3D printed part in here. It has a clip right here that's 3D printed that's shoving the wires. It had to over on this side, but they were broken and they were jangling and jingling in here. So we just removed them, and we're gonna hope that those wires stay over to the side. So if yours rattles, it may be those 3D printed parts. So we'll put the top back on now, reattach the fan, flip it over, and go through the rest. All right, so we're gonna flip it on its nose now.
Go back here.
We're gonna be careful that the bed doesn't fall. We're sticking the bolts through. And then we're gonna place these .
Good.
Okay. I got, yeah. All right, so we got everything connected with these two rails. Just had those 4 bolts below and the lock washers. So now we're gonna do the filament holder. We just are gonna attach those all together with
Does not say, it may say in a different language.
this one goes on this side. That one goes on that side. Hi, bud. What you doing?
What are you doing?
We're putting this together. You gotta go outside, okay? Okay, so there's a problem with the filament holder that they show from the beginning. You're gonna have different size filament. So you can loosen it. If you wanna loosen one of these bolts for me. Oh, this one's loose, never mind. You can loosen it to move it, but every time you change out filament, you're gonna have to loosen and move. unless you're using the exact same filament every time. There are some Thingiverse files that you can grab to where it adds like a pipe across here so it'll fit onto any size roll. You just leave it real big and it'll sit down here, which is an add-on I'll probably do. But for now, we're just going to do it to this Matter Hackers roll because that's what we'll print something in, and we'll tighten it down. So it's a little unclear where the filament sensor wire goes, so we're just going to go like that for now. So we're going to turn it around and show you the back of it, because we'll be plugging in some cables right now. So cables are coming out from underneath here, and it's pretty obvious which cables plug in because they're different plugs. So we're going to plug in this motor wire into here, and then we have the same thing happening on this side. So we're going to take this motor wire and plug it in to here. We have another cable here. Oops, that I just pulled right out. We have these 3D printed plastic pieces that go in to protect the wires. We'll plug it in there, and then this clear plastic will go over here. Protect that wire.
We have this guy right here.
We have the motor mount over here. There's a wire right here we plugged into that motor. And then on this side, we have another wire to go to where? Nowhere. Where does that go to? Oh wait, right here.
That's it, yep.
These two wires plug in to each other. So we had 4 wires to plug in together. Okay, so looking through, we have 3 cables that it came with. These apparently are extra because we already have a ribbon cable on the top, and then we have a ribbon cable down here we have to plug in to the board. So that's really nice. They give you extra ribbon cables because these would be hard to source because they're not off-the-shelf parts. So we have one of everything there. So all we have to do is take the ribbon cable down here, and we're going to slide it into the little slot. And that's connected. So everything is connected. We have extra parts here and here. They give you an extra filament sensor as well, which is incredible. Some V-wheels and some nuts. So now we're just gonna put, if you want to put all these in the bag. Did we miss one? Or is that extra pieces?
No, extra pieces.
Okay. So now we're going to turn it on. I'm going to bring the camera in on the screen so we can check out the screen really close and see what happens when we turn it on. All right, we have it plugged in. We're going to flip the switch. And this is what it will do. We have the Artillery logo. So we have the hot end right here. We have the bed temperature, the fan, I'm guessing speed. We have tools, set, and print. So let's go into tools, check this out. We have a heat where you can turn the heat up and down. We have extrude, and we can turn that up and down and how fast, how many steps. The touchscreen is super responsive. We have moving the Z. So it is moving. We can change how far we want to move it. 10.1, 1, so I'll do 0.1. That moves really fast and really smooth. Wow, I'm really impressed. We have home, level the bed, change the filament. We have a more button. It does have a color light underneath the extruder to where we can change the color of LED, which is pretty cool. Then we have a set. So we have file, which would be look off the USB or micro SD, which is awesome. Usually it's one or the other. We have the Artillery logo, so it does connect via Wi-Fi to your internet, which is
that's insane.
Amazing. I did not realize it has built-in Wi-Fi, which is crazy. So we'll connect that to Wi-Fi later. We control the fan speeds. We have the About or Sidewinder version 1.5. We're not connected to Wi-Fi yet. We have a continue. There's no files found. Check the file configuration so it backs off. We can turn the stepper motors off or on. Then we have a print. So it's got no files. Let's plug in the USB and see what files it finds. So the end of the USB lights up. We'll go to print. And we have X1 USB 2. We'll click on that. We have a cube file. We can reprint from the breakpoint. I don't know what that means. We'll hit back. And that is the settings that it shows. So we did some internet sleuthing. The Wi-Fi that we got really excited about doesn't actually exist at all on the board. There's no place for it. There's no module. It's just something in the firmware that they may use on a different machine, but it's not here. So disregard the Wi-Fi. Also, Cura does not have a built-in profile for this machine, so you're going to have to find that somewhere online, which is a super bummer. Yeah. When Cura has stuff built in, it's so much easier, especially for newer users. So there are a bunch of websites that have already made profiles for you. You just have to import it, which is out there, real easy to do, and it exists. So let's go ahead and move it around so you can see what that looks like. So I'm going to touch the screen. I'm going to change the Z height, and it just leveled it. So let's go to move and change it to 10. And it moves in increments of 10. If I hold it down, it doesn't do anything. You can hear it's very relatively quiet for what it is.
Yeah.
So Y is going to move it forward. X is going to move it over. The arrows are kind of weird because this is pointing down to the right, but it's moving left. And this is up to the left, and it's moving right. So, odd choice. But now that we've moved it, let's go ahead and home it. Home. And this is real-time sound. Super, super quiet. And it doesn't have homing switches. It does it kind of like the Prusa where it bangs into something and it realizes it from an electrical current, as far as I understand. So that's really nice. When you do plug in the USB, it does light up. It can read off of either the micro SD or a USB stick. So the first thing we need to do is level the bed. So we'll go ahead and do that, and then we'll load some filament and do a sample print. All right, so we're gonna level the bed. So we're at the home. So we're gonna go to, is it tools?
Yep.
We're gonna go to level, and we're gonna go to first, which should be the back corner, maybe?
I guess.
Raises it up. Oh, it homes itself. And it's moving to that spot.
And it's under there.
Which is way too tight. So we're going to go underneath and twist it. That's still way too tight.
There it goes.
Just leave it loose for now. Relatively loose, because when we move it, it's going to go crazy. So even though when it shows first in the back left, it's actually the front right. This whole screen is kind of reversed from when you're looking on it straight on. All right.
I got a little bit of...
Okay. Yep. Now we'll move to second. We should lift it up and move it over here.
Yep, that's pretty tight.
All right, next, third. Okay, and fourth.
Okay, fifth.
Fifth will be the center. We're good. All right, let's go back to first, and now we're just going to repeat the process. This video is sponsored by PCB Way. They offer full-featured custom PCB prototype services. They have a global sales team available to assist you with printed, circuit board, and PCB assembly. Visit PCBWay.com. Okay, so this is a textured glass sheet. We're used to a PEI sheet because that's what I like to put on my stuff. I still could add it if I want to. We're going to try the textured sheet. So we got it pretty close. So we're going to go back, and now we're going to move it home. So we're going to home all axes. And now we're going to load some filament.
All right, we're going to get it ready for its test print. So we're going to clean the bed with alcohol. So we're going to raise the Z height and load some filament as well after I clean the bed.
It is kind of annoying that you can't hold the button down and it go as far as you want it to go.
Yellow stuff came off.
It's a good thing you wiped it down. So we do have a yellow something coming off of the bed as we're wiping it down. So if you buy this, make sure to wipe the bed off.
I'm going to go ahead and load this filament up here. We're going to start with putting the filament lead from the top, so it has plenty of room to go down into the filament sensor here.
And when the filament runs through and it runs out, it'll stop the print.
And there's this little lever right here. You just pull that back and push it in until it stops.
Okay, so we forgot to plug in our extruder into the ribbon cable because it was back here. So yeah, we missed that. So now we are just heating up the hot end and the bed. We're going to go ahead and run some filament through and start printing. So we're going to go to Tools, Change Filament. On Extruder 1, choose In. Heat completed, please load filament to the extruder and click to confirm for start loading. So I can feel it coming out, we can see it coming out. It's coming out really smooth. It's working really nice. It's flowing through our filament sensor perfectly.
My goodness.
Load filament completed, click confirm to return. So we're finished with that, filament's loaded. So now we'll just hit back. We'll go to back again.
Print.
We'll click on print and we're going to print the cube that is on there. You can see it has a blue light coming out the bottom, which is a pretty interesting and neat feature. We can hit options and change the light.
The directions show that the light changes as certain things heat up. And then once it's fully ready, it turns white to illuminate the work surface.
Interesting. So blue is, we don't know what it is.
Green is once it's finished.
Blue is heating up the extruder probably, because we're at 199
Yes.
at 200.
So gradually change from blue to violet as the heated bed gets to our target temp. Gradually change from violet to red as the hot end gets the temperature. And then change to white to illuminate work surface.
Which is pretty cool. It's a very neat idea I haven't seen on anything. So we've leveled everything. It's coming down to home. And then it will start printing. I'm going to check if there's a live Z adjust. So it heated itself up to 230 and 80 for the bed, which is a lot hotter than I would normally print PLA at. And again, this is off of its own SD card, so I don't know what the settings call for.
Whatever it is, it's going really fast.
That is a really fast print. This is going faster than normal. So it does show our Z at 0.3. If I can go to change, and we have pause, stop. It does show
Change. Oh, it's change filament.
change filament. That's not what I wanted to do. Change filament actually did raise it up, so we're just going to hit resume and start printing again. That's pretty amazing. We have speed. We can move the extruder, I suppose. We can turn the light on and off while it's printing. We can change fan speed, print speed. There is no live Z adjust. I'm not seeing that anywhere here. So normally we can raise and lower the Z just a little bit to tune things instead of having to go down under there, but I don't see that in the settings. So that is a major bummer. That is a definite must and need now, but it does seem to be printing fine.
Looks like I might have made the bed a little too close.
But we'll just let it go from there because we have first layer adhesion. So we'll come back here in a minute and check out the last print. While it's printing, I'm going to take the time to go ahead and make it my own. Brand all the things. So I have a cord coming from here because this is the closest cord to the printer. But our initial thoughts is this thing is really good.
Yeah.
So far compared to my Aina A8. It is super quiet.
Super quiet, super smooth.
Super smooth, super fast.
Yes.
It's crazy fast, just default printing. We did have some of the eccentric nuts to the V-wheels were loose on the bed, so we tightened those. The selections on the screen are a little bit, I'm not sure what these do.
But the touchscreen is super sensitive. It's
Super responsive.
We've seen other printers from ANET that you keep on pushing that screen.
Well, we also had one from Monoprice that the screen sucked as well. So really, really nice there. The only thing we can really hear of this printer is the fan underneath blowing out. If that wasn't audible, you wouldn't hear this printer printing, basically.
I would have no problem keeping this inside my house, and my wife would not mind at all because she wouldn't know it's running.
Yeah, usually the sound, everybody can hear that late at night while it's printing through the night. And with a big printer like this, you're doing longer prints.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you want to maximize the bed. But it did have a yellow film coming off of it the whole time. I don't know what that was.
Don't know.
No amount of scrubbing or putting isopropyl alcohol on it was removing that yellow. Hopefully we weren't taking away the texture on the bed. But I think that's etched in there. I honestly have no idea. So if you know, leave a comment down below so we can all be informed, because I honestly have no idea. But, so it doesn't have limit switches, it has proximity switches. So there's a proximity switch back here on the Z, and there's one over here, I believe.
They're right here.
Yep, right there on the X. So that's really nice. It's one less part that can break. So far, the filament roller has been working perfectly. Yeah. It's silent, and we haven't had any binding at all. It does have dual Z motors that'll raise it up and down evenly, which is really nice.
Yep.
And that's the only thing that kind of is a bummer is that the footprint of the machine is freaking huge. The ANET is smaller, and I can fit it in its spot right now just barely. I'm not sure where I'm going to fit this and how I'm going to fit it. It's going to be some creative moving.
Yep. And we had the bottom off, and there's plenty of space in there. So why they made it this big, I'm not sure, because a typical, countertop is like 24 inches, and this is larger than that. You need 29 inches from the front.
Yeah, if I get out the tape measure, the actual base is 21.5, but then you need room for the cords behind it, and that puts you out to about 27-ish.
27.
And then the width of it is not bad, 16, but the height with a roll of filament, you'll be at around 36. So plan on that when you're buying this and need room to put this in your shop or your house. You're going to use a lot of space to fill it up. What do you think so far? I guess, without actually
Based
pulling
off
a
of-
print off
yeah.
of it yet.
Without pulling a print off, just the silent stepper motors, how smooth it is, the filament sensor, just those little things.
It literally took us 5 minutes to put together,
Yeah.
which is insane.
I would totally buy it.
Absolutely.
Yep.
It's, what did I just look, it's $4.99, I believe. Was that? the
Yeah,
price? I think it's $4.99
yeah.
on Amazon, and it's a pretty decent price, right in line with other printers of this size. The ANET that I was using and printed the Mandalorian helmet on was $350, $400, $450. I kind of see it in that price range. Definitely worth the
Yeah.
money over that ANET.
And automatically, just looking at the print, it's going to be better print quality.
Now, of course, this is the pre-sliced file.
Yes.
I will be showing some more here after this little clip, so keep going. I am going to print a Mandalorian helmet on this, so if you want to see that, keep watching the rest of this video.
Yeah.
But the print quality so far is fantastic. So we'll come back after this print is done and show you the finished test cube from Artillery. Okay, we just finished the print. It printed pretty fast. How long would you say this took? About 30 minutes maybe?
Yeah, maybe.
It didn't come with a scraper to scrape anything off. Try using the plastic one, which is not going to work. It did not come with a scraper to scrape off. It's still hot, of course. If we let it cool, it should cool down. But we don't want to wait. All right, we'll wait. Wow, that's really stuck on
That
there.
is stuck. Oh, maybe I didn't put it too close. Or maybe a hair.
I think it looks all right.
But the thing is
The sides
on
are
there.
smooth.
Wow. Good grief.
So it's on there. The bed is cooling down to 48. We're just trying to get it off before that. But it is really, really stuck.
Whatever this textured stuff is.
Okay, our bed is back down to 20. Let's see if we can pull it off. Oh my gosh. Oh, it's so stuck on there. It's crazy.
Did you put glue on it or something?
I cannot get it off. Okay, so we're going to resort to the wrench because I can't get it off any other way. There we go. So that was super stuck on there. I don't know what's up, but we don't have problems with adhesion. So let's check this out up close. So here is the print. You can see it just printed really, really well. The quality is good. The sides are good. The corners are good. I'm just super impressed with the quality of this thing. So let's print out something that's not pre-sliced from Artillery. All right, we're gonna try a quick print. We're gonna go back. I sliced this in Cura. So we're gonna try the, oh my. The names are terrible and I can't read it all. Rocket Test 1, no, Rocket Test Small. This is a really, really tiny print. And we'll see if it actually can do it. It's a rocket and it's hollow, so we'll find out if it can print it. So it's going to heat itself up and we'll check it out when it comes back.
All right, guys, it just finished up.
Okay, this is 0.2. It's really tiny. You see my fingertip here. But we have some missing pieces at 0.2. Although this is a large format printer and I printed something really, really tiny. So we're gonna do one more. We're gonna go back, we're gonna print, and we're gonna print the bigger rocket. That'll take about an hour. So we'll see how that comes out. All right, so our larger test just finished. Let's pull this off and see how it turned out. If we can get it off. I have to say one thing, that this build tack is very sticky. So here is the bigger rocket, which seems to have printed pretty well. You can see there are no deformations like there was on the other one. There are a few little lines, but that is a cylinder, which is harder to print. The triangles turned out pretty good. You can see the base that way. So that's the larger rocket. Now let's do something really big. Of course I printed the Mandalorian helmet, and now I'm gonna get this and go from the little rocket to a giant Mandalorian helmet, because we'll go big or go home. So that's what I'm gonna do. So I have my Aina A8 Plus over here, which is my other large format, and I have my Sidewinder right here. You can see it is a little shorter on the Aina A Plus. That gives, they say this is a 400 Z height, and this is a 350 Z height. So this one is a little bit bigger, but it has the same build plate. You can see this one looks a lot more like a skeleton than this one does. This one has rubber V-wheels riding along the metal frame, and this one has linear bearings riding along the rods for the X and the Y, so you'd suspect that'd give a better print. This one doesn't print very well. It's okay, but it doesn't print very well. This one has printed fantastic out of the box. You can see the difference in the filament holders. This one uses a roller style. This one is just the arm where it rolls on its own. The USB and all the controls are up front for here, and plugging in anything over here is in the back, and it's kind of difficult to get to. This one still used the old style non-touchscreen controls, and this one is touchscreen. It's a lot nicer. Although from the factory there's not a live Z height. You have to install some firmware on it, and that is a pain in the butt. So that is a downside of this. But this one, there's no touchscreen, so it's kind of old school that way. This one is way, 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 way louder. This is dead near silent, almost Prusa level silent, how fantastic this is. And this one is dual Z motor, this one is dual Z motor, so this is what you're getting for about $400 to $500. If you're going to opt for one of these, definitely go for the Artillery. It's producing better prints. It's faster, much, much faster. It actually, from the profile I have, will print things a little bit faster than my Prusa. And this one is just slow, slow, slow. So this is what I printed my first Mandalorian helmet on. It came out okay. I had to do a lot of filler because there were some gaps in it. So I am printing the second one on this, and we'll check it out. But that's the difference in these two machines. All right, so this is my first part of the Mandalorian helmet down here, and we have run out of filament, and the filament detector did work, and it worked perfectly. I was actually asleep when this happened because it was overnight, and it actually stays halfway through there until you pull it out. So this is the remainder of the filament. So let's change the filament in here. So we'll go to, it stays on the printing screen, so we'll go to change, and then we'll go out. And it'll say confirm heating up. So it stays heated up until you confirm that something you want to do. So I pulled the filament out, and now we'll just grab the new filament. We'll put it back through the filament sensor again, even though we should be good on this because it uses about a half a roll. So we're through the filament sensor, we're putting it down through the tube, we're pulling this open and shoving some through. There is a glob down here because it raises up, but it doesn't raise up very far. But we'll hit continue when it's unloaded, and now we'll push in, and now it's loading. I wish it raised up, but it does not. So we're gonna have to get in there with a pair of pliers and pull out all the filament that it is pushing out and purging right now, so it doesn't mix with what we're printing. This is the stock firmware. Flash firmware may be different to where it moves it to the front or up farther away, which would be really nice. But we have purged, so I'll hit continue or confirm. I'll go back to the print and I'll click on resume, and the print has now resumed. So that's what the filament detection does. If you don't have a printer with one, it is a super nice function and will save a lot of prints. So on to more Mandalorian helmet printing. New 3D printer in the house. This is the Artillery Sidewinder X1. And we are day one of a 3-day print of a Mandalorian helmet again. This one should come out a whole lot nicer. Day two of printing the Mandalorian helmet. This is on the Artillery Sidewinder X1. This one's printing out much nicer than the old Aina. Don't buy the Aina, buy this Artillery so far. We are at hour 55, 67% of the helmet. Look how smooth, look how smooth. This printer is really good. Alright, so we're 69 hours and 52 minutes in. We're at 85%, and that's how far we are. So, we're getting there. And it is just so pretty. 80 hours, 39 minutes. Went 251 millimeters up. And we're finished. It's gorgeous. Is the Artillery printer good? Yes. It is very good. Very silent. Recommend buying. After 80 hours of printing, she's finally finished. The Mando helmet. This is on the Artillery Sidewinder X1. Just got to break away the ports inside. On the bottom. And in the glass. This is the way. Well, there you have it, guys. The Artillery Sidewinder X1 large format printer. It is awesome. Awesome. It is as good as a Prusa in print quality. At least that's the experience I've had. Printed the test cube, was flawless. The rocket was really good. That pig I did in PETG turned out beautiful, and that was only at 2.8, which is ridiculous. And then I did a Benchy, which turned out flawless, and it was at 1.5. The print, the system, the whole thing, absolutely wonderful. If I were to buy any printer right now, it would be this printer. Over the Prusa, over the Ender, which is what I usually recommend for a cheap beginner printer. Although this is $4.99 normal price, you can find it from $4 to $4.50. I'll put links in the description below. This is the printer to beat right now for me in my shop. That Mandalorian helmet was ridiculous. That was printed at 1.5 in PLA, and it printed it fantastic. The filament sensor is flawless. Everything just works really well out of the box. I have flashed the firmware to Marlin 2.0. I did gain the live Z height. It's worth it if you are looking for that feature. So that's it for the Artillery Sidewinder X1. Absolute purchase. You must own this printer. It is so good. Links are in the description below. If you like this video, please leave a thumbs up. Make sure to hit subscribe, and I'll see you back here for more 3D printing. Happy printing! Okay, so
I can't stop thinking how big of a dude you could have.
On the hood.
Purposely almost out. So maybe we'll trigger the filament sensor. Let's
Try that again.
And what?